Greetings, friends. It is the spooky season that is upon us now. That's right, this is October 2022 as I am recording this. And of course, this season always puts me in the mood for a good, creepy story. I decided to do a Twilight Zone episode today. Of course, you know, we do love our Twilight Zone here on this channel. And today I was in the mood for a evil doll story. I don't know why, I just had it in my mind that I wanted to do a story like that. And of course, the Twilight Zone has given us two very memorable stories in that vein. The first one that comes to mind is the episode Living Doll with, remember, Talkie Tina? I'm Talkie Tina. And that one featured Telly Savalas, and he was kind of a really mean stepfather guy. That's a great episode. But what I want to focus on today is the other one, and it is the episode The Dummy. This one was in Season 3, Episode 33. It first aired on May 4th, 1962, and it was written by Rod Serling and based on a story by Lee Polk. Now, this one features Cliff Robertson playing a ventriloquist named Jerry, and of course, his dummy is Willie, and Willie is one creepy little customer, let me tell you. He is just creepy to look at, period. Just look at him and he's just, it gives you the willies, hence his name Willie. But then this things get even worse because we find out that Cliff Robertson's character, Jerry, he's a little unhinged. It just gets right into that. There's no build up to that. We just find that out right away. He has some issues, some psychological issues for sure. And we get that through the dialogue between him and his agent, played by Frank Sutton. Of course, he was Sergeant Carter in the Gomer Pyle USMC show. And they play off each other really well. Sutton is angry with Cliff's character. He isn't performing well. He's having these issues. He's not going out on stage as much as he should. And he's trying to get Cliff Robertson to just shape up. But of course, like I said, he's got some issues, and one of those issues is he believes that Willie is alive. Now, what I want to talk about is just kind of how this episode is structured, because it's fascinating to me. So it does that thing where we introduce the idea that Jerry, the Cliff Robertson character, believes that Willie's alive. We establish that pretty quick. But then we don't actually know for a long time in the story if Willie is actually, but we don't really know for a long time into the story if Willie is actually alive or if it's just in Jerry's head. So they do some clever camera work with that. The idea that the camera will pan off of Willie, and then when it gets back to him, Willie's moved to another position. Then the camera goes off him, and now Willie's facing this way, and things like that. And you don't know if Willie is actually moving or if that's just what Jerry is perceiving. And I think that's fascinating because it almost feels like the story is more about this character's mental deterioration, and the evil doll element is just a sort of vessel for that. And for a long time in the episode, that's kind of how it comes off. Now, of course, we learn later in the episode that no, Willie actually is alive. He can talk. They show that. And then the twist at the end where the ventriloquist and the dummy come out, and it's Jerry is now the dummy and Willie is the human. Great twist. So that supernatural element that the Twilight Zone is known for is something that we get, but we don't get it until later in the episode. And I just think that's well-crafted sci-fi fantasy storytelling. A couple other just great things I noticed is really the performances. I think Cliff Robertson is very good in this. He is so unhinged, and his dialogue is written in a way that you just feel that coming off of him, and he is able to just kind of just chew on that dialogue for a long time and get us to believe it. And even Frank Sutton playing off him, they just do a great job, and I think their performances work. And then, of course, when the agent character leaves and Jerry is left to his own devices, Willie just kind of comes out and just takes over his mentality and his personality, and he just disintegrates at that point. And that's great storytelling. I think that's really cool. Okay, as always, I have the clipboard of creeps here. Not a ton of information today, but I did find a couple of cool things. So, the doll, the Willie doll, showed up in the Twilight Zone again in Season 5 in an episode called Caesar and Me. And this one featured Jackie Cooper, and the doll, again, is telling Jackie Cooper to go and do nefarious things, rob banks or something to make money. It's been a long time since I've seen that one. I'll have to rewatch that one again. But I think it's cool that they recycled Willie. In that episode, he's called Caesar. So something to note. And then the other thing I found is that David Copperfield, the magician, the famous magician David Copperfield, he actually has the Willie doll in his private collection. So the Willie doll that we watch in this episode is now sitting somewhere in David Copperfield's private collection, and that's kind of cool if you think about it. One of the most famous magicians out there has Willie in his house, and you can only kind of imagine, what's going on in that house. Okay, that is our episode, The Dummy, a precursor to a lot of the evil doll stories we have gotten since then. This came before Chucky. This came before Doll Man. This came before lots of those different stories that we kind of see that now. But what this story gave us was a frightening, creepy doll factor that didn't rely on the doll to really move much. Of course, you got Chucky, and it's an animated puppet with, a knife coming and running at you. And really, a lot of the other films we see that got evil dolls, they're either CGI or puppets, and they're coming up and they're running and they're creating mayhem. This didn't need that to bring the creeps and the scares. This did it with dialogue, with characters, with weird camera movements, and just little things like that to get us unhinged. It just used those elements to really creep us out. And also, I just want to mention that the voice of Willie, it was voiced by George Murdoch. He had a voice that is just eerie. And it is an unsettling voice that Willie has. And just watch the episode. It'll give you the creeps. And it's a good one to watch in this October season, I promise. Okay, thanks for taking the time to watch this episode. If you have any other Twilight Zone episodes you'd like me to talk about here, feel free to let me know. I'd be happy to cover any ones you're interested in. Leave me some comments. I'd like to know your thoughts on these episodes and this one particularly. That'd be great. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate it. And until the next time, have a good one.